Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. My name is Lily and let's get started with today's video. Today I'm finishing up this 18-inch by 24-inch acrylic painting I started a few days ago, and I'm going to be talking about how I find my art inspiration. I've never really done a Vincent van Gogh inspired painting before, let alone with acrylics, so this has definitely been a challenge, but it's also been really fun. Typically, my biggest inspiration for things relies on one thing, which is color palettes. I really love studying and using colors, so most of my inspiration comes from just color palettes. But I can pretty much find inspiration from anything, anywhere, like music, clothes, animals, etc. I'll kind of try to explain what I mean. Basically, let's say I'm listening to Dying Star by Ashniko. I was inspired by the lyrics and the meaning of the song, and I created this piece that I call Refuge. Another example of something I do when I have art block or no ideas is going onto this website called Coolers and generate palettes until I feel inspired and like the colors enough to make something with it. Usually when there's greens, I'll do something like a landscape with leaves and flowers. When I see browns, I automatically want to do capybaras. With purples and pinks, I think of skies and sunsets. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I just look at the color palettes and think of what those colors could be. It's a great way to brainstorm ideas and find new colors. Sometimes I'll scroll on Pinterest for inspiration. The best way to create something is finding things you like and different aspects of it. Let's say maybe you like the flowers in one picture, the trees in another picture, or maybe you like the way somebody drew an animal. Then you take those different things and you say, okay, now how can I create something new inspired by these things, but not directly taking these things? The base of this art piece came from the style and colors of Vincent van Gogh's The Starry Night, and I was just sitting around staring at this big old canvas that I had, trying to figure out what I wanted to do. So I kind of started thinking back about classics and different things that I learned about in art class, and The Starry Night came to mind, and I was thinking, okay, how can I make this into something new, like incorporating my own style into it? And I always feel like something that's kind of fun to do is add like these ridiculous looking characters, like these funny little looking characters. Studio Ghibli movies have always been one of my favorite things, and my husband and I actually recently watched the newest Studio Ghibli movie. So first I'll talk a bit about the newest Studio Ghibli movie, The Boy and the Heron. This story follows a young boy named Mahito whose mother's passed away, so he had to move to a new town with his father. At their new home, they are surrounded by lush forests and sparkling rivers. Mahito's life takes a magical turn when he encounters a graceful heron with shimmering feathers who leads him on a mysterious journey through the woods and into an abandoned tower. Along the way, Mahito discovers the true power of friendship and the importance of protecting nature. As Mahito and the heroine bond over their shared adventures, they encounter challenges that test their courage and resilience. Through their unwavering determination, they learn valuable lessons about empathy and the interconnectedness of all living beings. The little floaty guys are inspired by the Wada Wada spirits. Basically, the Wada Wada are unborn human souls that live in one of the magical worlds in the movie. I definitely recommend watching the movie if you can. It's a little abstract, as most Studio Ghibli movies are, and I ugly cried. Well, honestly, I ugly cry over most Studio Ghibli movies. But anyways, I digress. The Wada Wada have to be cared for, fed, and protected until they mature enough to float up and be turned into human babies. For some reason, I'm just a sucker for cute little guys like the suit sprites, and I fell in love with them. The scene I was thinking of in particular when creating my painting was when they were all floating up in the night sky going to be born into humans. I was thinking, that'd be kind of funny to make them floating in Vincent van Gogh's Starry Night. The second inspiration for this painting was, of course, The Starry Night by Vincent van Gogh, who was born in the Netherlands on March 30th, 1853. This masterpiece is pretty much instantly recognizable for its swirling, expressive brushstrokes and the vibrant colors. And yes, he is the artist who cut off his own left ear. The Starry Night is actually a painting he created after he cut off his left ear, and he was staying in an asylum in southern France. The view depicts what he saw from his window. He was captivated by the way the stars seemed to dance and the way the darkness of the night contrasted with the bright colors of the stars and the moon. This fascination with the night sky led Van Gogh to create the Starry Night as a way to capture the beauty and wonder of the nighttime world. Despite the initial mixed reviews, the Starry Night has since become one of Van Gogh's most famous and beloved works. So as I was thinking how I'm going to combine these two things, I suddenly had the idea that I can make the Wada Wada spirits into like the stars and the moon in the Starry Night. So that's why they're a little bit more yellow than they are in the movie. Of course, there's more than one way to finding inspiration and creating art. I do a lot of different types of art like crochet, jewelry making, digital art, etc. In this video, you can just see me working on a painting, but my methods of inspiration apply to all forms of art. Let's talk about how I make my painting ideas come to life. If I have a plan going into a painting, I will sketch out with pencil where I want things to lay so I can kind of size them properly and get the composition correct. Then I'll mix my paint colors and create a little swatch so that I can remake the colors later on. A good thing to practice is remaking colors, which in turn will make your color matching skills better, since you'll have a better understanding of how the colors are created. I usually do the background first, so that if I mess it up, it's easier to fix it than if I did the subjects first. Once I finish the background, or mostly finish the background, then I move on to painting the other areas and adding the details to bring it all together. In this painting, that was adding the yellow brushstrokes from the Wada Wada around them to sort of resemble the stars in the Starry Night, and it really brought everything together. If we want to get into a deeper meaning of this painting for what it means to me personally, Vincent van Gogh's painting was made while he was in an asylum and mentally struggling. He was using his art as an outlet and a way to cope. And the Wada Wada from the movie essentially represent the beginning of life. In a way, this painting can be seen as my way of expressing the feeling of missing out and not being able to have children due to my health. I constantly feel like I miss out on a lot of things that able-bodied people can do and certain milestones that they reach that I simply just cannot reach due to my disabilities. Not that there's anything inherently wrong about me not being able to reach these milestones, and I've pretty much come to terms with the fact that there's a lot of things that I won't be able to do or complete in my lifetime, and that's okay, but obviously there is still some guilt and sadness and some feelings that I have about these certain subjects. While of course there are situations where people won't be stopped by a disability, it doesn't mean that every single person with that condition or a similar condition will simply just be able to push through it. Some people say that the only disability is a bad mindset, which is just entirely untrue. No matter how good my mindset is, it will not fix a genetic mutation causing horrible symptoms. It won't make my organs start functioning properly. A good mindset won't fix everything. That's just simply being realistic. I try to remind myself that every journey is different, and it's okay if my journey looks different than somebody else's, and it's okay if your life looks different than you imagined it to, but there's always ways that we can cope, we can express ourselves, we can deal with things. There's ways that we can connect with other people that might be experiencing the same thing so that they don't feel as alone. Art is an amazing way to express yourself and cope with life. Not all art absolutely has to have a deeper meaning, but I guess I'm just saying all this to say to you that you can create cute, innocent-looking things while it still has a deeper message. Use your creativity and your feelings to make something new and something you're passionate about. We have to stop worrying as much as what everybody else thinks or does and just take it day by day, living our own lives. Here is the finished painting after I finally did everything, did all the little details. I'm really happy with how it came out, considering this is my first time doing a painting like this. Thank you so much for joining me on my first YouTube video. I can't wait to show you guys what else I have in store. I also added in a little thing more about me at the very end of this video. But yeah, see you later.